This is Trevor Mead, social worker. I am doing my interview for our first writing assignment or interview assignment, as you would call it, and my client should be here soon. Come in. Hey, I'm Trevor Mead.
Hannah West.
Nice to meet you, Miss West. Have a seat where you like. So, Miss West,
Yes.
was that what you want me to call you, or is there anything else? How do you want to be addressed?
Hannah, please.
Hannah. Okay. Well, Hannah, what have you been doing today?
Just went to church and went and ran on the treadmill.
Did you? What? Where do you run on the treadmill at?
I actually went to Total Fitness today.
Cool. Okay. Well, getting this interview started because there are some time constraints. I just want to quickly go over confidentiality and everything that we say here will be kept in confidential.
Okay.
I won't tell anybody except my classmates and Professor Arnold, who will be watching this. Not all my classmates. I just want to inform you on your rights of answering questions. If I answer a question and you feel uncomfortable or you don't feel like you should answer it, I am not putting pressure on you. You do not have to answer it.
Okay.
And then I just do one simple thing, as I request feedback at the end of this interview. So, Hannah, let's start out. I want to ask you, what did you want to be when you grew up?
A vet. My cousin's a vet, and I always just looked up to her. And I've always loved animals, and I still do today.
You don't mind if I take notes, do you?
That's okay.
Okay. Okay, so you wanted to be a vet, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What is it about being a vet that you really like?
Just spending time with animals and playing with them. Like, I love still to this day going to the Humane Society and walking the dogs and petting them, but I couldn't. I decided I didn't want to be a vet.
So what did you decide? When did you decide what you wanted to be? What age were you?
Well, I've had different options. In high school, I worked with an individual who was special needs, and I actually did the Special Olympics with him.
Right.
And I wanted to be a special needs teacher. And then when I got into college, I wanted to be a teacher.
A teacher.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to teach first grade.
Well, that's a bit of a change between a vet and a teacher.
Mm-hmm. So till my senior year, I decided that teaching was not what I wanted to be. So I decided that since I love helping people and working with people,
Right.
I wanted to be a social worker.
Social worker.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to realize what you wanted to do in social work?
Well, I've always, ever since I was little, had a strong passion to work with people. When I was little, I would go to the nursing homes with my dad because my grandmother and granddad lived there, and I would go play bingo with my grandmother.
Right.
And I would just call her just to talk to her. I just love the elderly, and I would just call her and just tell her that I loved her and was seeing how she was doing. And so I'm excited.
Cool.
To do social work.
What factors have motivated you to go into social work?
Well, since as I stated, I've always loved helping people. I've always been the person that someone would go to. I just like working with people and talking to people and making their lives and days better. And another factor was my boyfriend. He was actually doing social work as well, and I was learning, or he was telling me about some of the stuff that he was doing, and it really interested me, and I was like, wow, this stuff's really interesting. And we would watch jail shows and First 48 and all that stuff, and I just was really interested in that kind of stuff.
Well, he must be a lucky boyfriend.
He is.
So, anybody else besides your boyfriend who was able to, motivate you or sway you into social work?
Well, myself, I also realized that this is something that I'm passionate about, and my dad. My dad knows how much I love helping people and working with people,
Okay.
and he's seen it. He's seen it since I was little with my grandparents, and I still to this day, I work with my great grandmother who has dementia, and I've seen the battles that my parents have had to go through to find living options. And
Would you say, or would you not say, that your grandmother has anything to do with it? It's totally up to you.
Just working with her, like when she was hospitalized for dementia, just the social workers that she worked with, and I firsthand got to see my mom battle with trying to find living
Okay.
option or full-time nurses, and I want to be that social worker that can find
Sure.
a better living option and to let the family know that their loved one is in good hands.
Sure. Now, I'm not leading you to say solely that it was, your grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
but would you say that your grandmother would be the reason that you are going into social work?
Yeah, and my dad, myself.
Okay.
Like, I knew all alone that I wanted to help people, like vet, that helps people. Teaching, that helps people.
Sure.
And social work, I mean, all those kind of go hand in hand with helping people.
Right.
So I guess all along I just knew I wanted to help people, but wasn't sure what I wanted to do.
Right. So let's move to your hopes and dreams of being a social worker. What would you describe as your hopes and dreams as a social worker?
I actually, since I've stated, I want to possibly do something with home placements. Since I do not have a social work, since I do not have a BSW, I'm not sure of all the options that I can do. I mean, since I'm in my master's right now, I'm going to learn about everything that I can about social work and what I can do with my social work.
So where do you want to go with these home placements?
What do you mean?
Any state? Anywhere?
Since I am from Tennessee, we have. I mean, I feel like I would have a better option of finding a job down there.
Sure.
And I love Tennessee. I'm not really a big fan of Bowling Green.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, it just happens to be where I picked my area of expertise. That's good that you can go elsewhere with the knowledge that you have learned, and you can apply what you've learned and affect people's lives, just like I do every day.
Well, my parents actually, another option I may consider, but I'm not really sure. My parents think that I should run my own nursing home. Not really sure if I want to do that, just because that's a lot of deep stuff you got to know, and not really sure if I'm interested in that, and maybe getting an LCSW. I still have a lot to go. I just started in August, so I still have a lot to learn, and I need to figure out.
Anything about any issues or concerns of the social work?
Probably my main concern is if I do home placement or find better placements for the people, that I may not find the best option, because it was very hard for my mom, for my great grandmother's well-being and her state of mind, to think of, will she survive in a nursing home? But I mean, like I've said, she does have full-time nurses, and that we're satisfied with that so far.
Anything else that you might not worried about with social work?
Just the whole, just finding if I choose the right option, and I'm just worried that I may not get a job. But
that's true.
Like in teaching, teachers are not getting hired. But I'm kind of hoping, since if I go back to Tennessee, bigger city, more job opportunities.
Sure. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like me to know about your career? Nothing?
I'm excited. I'm ready to, even though I just started my master's, I'm ready to be done. I mean, I have a job actually right now where I work with community options. We work with people who have disabilities, and I can see after working with them for a week and a half that I've impacted both their lives. Like,
sure.
They get excited to see me. One of them told me that she loves me, and that's what makes me feel like I've done my job because, I have the personality for it and I can make people's days better.
Okay.
So.
Well, we are on time constraints, so that will conclude our interview. I'd like to take the opportunity to ask for your feedback at this time to make sure all my questions were answered, if I paid attention, how I did.
Yeah, you did. I really liked how you did the interview, your questions, and how you did not look around. You looked straight at me, and that's something I tended to look around, and I can't always look someone straight in the eye.
Sure.
So I was very proud of you with that. And
so I conducted a comfortable.
Yes, I didn't feel like you were like freakishly staring at me.
Okay.
I think you did a really good job, and.
Well, that about sums up our interview. So I will lead you to the door, and it was nice to meet you.
Thank you, Mr. Mead.
No problem. We will fill out an interview next week.
Okey-dokey.
Call me when you want. That concludes my interview. 11 minutes and 15 seconds, a little bit over the time. Not bad for my first interview.